So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Start today. Start working on it and watch how you become the strongest version of yourself. Are you tired of feeling powerless in your own life? Do you want to break free of the chains that have been holding you back? Today, I'll be diving deep into how you can stop being weak and seize control of your life and of your destiny. Stay with me till the end because this could just change your perspective. Let me just start off by saying this. If you make yourself weak, you're going to suffer in life. You're going to have a hard life, a difficult life. And if you allow yourself to continue being weak, you're going to become bitter. You're going to become angry. You're going to become resentful. You're going to feel like you're lifeless and like you're a loser. You're going to become unhappy and take your misery and your bitterness out on people. You're going to just see the negative in every situation and in every person. When you're weak, you don't know what you want. And even if you knew what you wanted, well, you're not going to have the guts to go for it, to start it. Let me tell you something. Weakness is not who you are. It's not a permanent state. So don't let it define you. It's a mindset. Yes, it's a mindset. And just like any other mindset, you can change it. In this video, I'm going to explore 8 strategies to get you out of your weak mindset. Make sure to watch till the end because I have a bonus tip. That makes it 9 tips. It's Christy again. Thank you for being here. Let's get right into it. The first thing you could do to combat weakness is to develop resilience. Not give in and say there's nothing that I can do. It is what it is and I can't change it. That's a resilience. So embrace change, learn from setbacks, keep moving forward. Don't get stuck on the now or the past. Keep your eyes forward. And remember, every obstacle, every challenge, every problem is an opportunity to grow, to learn, to get stronger. Another thing you can and should do is to set clear boundaries. Setting boundaries doesn't make you mean or bad or aggressive. Setting boundaries means that you're expressing your needs respectfully. And remember, when you respect yourself, when you respect your needs, others will as well. People are not going to respect you if you are not treating yourself in a respectful way. This will not only protect your well being, but it's also going to foster healthier relationships with those around you. Number 3, prioritize self care. Yes, self care. Very, very important because your physical health will impact your mental health. If we're not feeling well physically, that's going to depress us. That's going to put us down. That's going to make us feel weak. Some obvious ways to take care of your health or your physical health is, of course, having a balanced diet, eating healthy, staying away from all the stuff such as excessive alcohol intake, smoking, drugs, and all that stuff that we know we shouldn't take. Another way is, of course, to exercise. And exercise doesn't just mean going to the gym. It could mean just taking walks. It could mean walking up and down the stairs in your home if you have a house, or if you're in a building, you can take the stairs once a day instead of taking the elevator. There's always a way if we want to, right? It could just mean practicing stretching exercises every morning, like I do when I get a chance, when I remember. You do exercises in bed and some stretching exercises when you wake up. I mean, just for a few seconds, really, a minute. It could be just consciously thinking of trying to stay physically active. When you feel good physically, you're going to stay better mentally as well, and you can take on life's challenges easier because you're not too busy feeling pain and weak. Of course, I just have to add that your mental state will also reflect on your health state. So it's like a double-edged sword. Take care of your body in order to keep your mental healthy. Take care of your mental and your emotional in order to keep your body healthy. Number 4, embrace nonstop learning. Listen, life is a journey of learning nonstop. Whether you're in school, in your teenage, or you're in your golden years, we always continue to learn. Even when you don't realize it, we're always learning one thing or another, whether it's a new hobby or a new skill or just something that you learn because you have to do it repeatedly in life, unintentional learning. We're always learning. Embrace it. Love it. Remember, knowledge is power. And that's not only going to boost your self-esteem and your confidence, but knowledge will also help you boost your adaptability to situations. Imagine you go to a new country where you don't speak the language and you refuse to learn the language. You are never going to adapt. If you refuse to integrate yourself and learn about the culture of that new city or new country that you moved in, you are never going to adapt. That's learning. Learning, you have to learn new things in order to adapt. Very important. Number five, be kind to yourself. Yes, be kind and sweet and gentle with yourself. It's very important. Trust me, you need it. We're often our own worst enemies in a sense. We do know that oftentimes you are your own worst critic. Embrace self compassion by acknowledging your strengths and celebrating your strengths, and by also understanding your weaknesses and working on them. That's how you can get rid of them. So treat yourself with kindness, will ya? Can you do that? I'm sure you can. This shift in perspective will give you a healthier life with yourself and with others. You're going to be even more authentic when you're feeling good with yourself. You are not going to be afraid to be totally yourself. Number six, and I speak to myself when I say that, take decisive actions. Yes, when we're weak, we can't make decisions. We cannot act, we can't start, and we overthink over and over again. We overthink, and this will lead you to analysis paralysis. I've been through this. I've spent the past 8 years or so in analysis paralysis. I want to do something. I research it over and over again. I analyze every single detail, every little thing, and then I drown. I drown in my details and my analysis, and then I end up not making any decisions and I walk away. This is why it took me forever to start YouTube, because of the analysis paralysis, because I couldn't make a decision, because I felt weak, like I'm not good enough and stuff like that. So that makes you feel weak. And therefore, when you're weak, you can't make decisions and you can't take actions. You're too scared to. But I'm happy to tell you that I finally defied that. Now, I'm not saying that it comes as easy as breathing to me at this point, because it takes constant work every single day. It's a mindset change, right? And you got to work on it every single day. But I'm happy to say that I finally started YouTube, as you can see, and this has been a huge thing for me. All of that because I made a decision and I took action, because I didn't allow myself to stay in this weak state where I feel helpless, like there's nothing that I can do. So how do you do that? Identify areas in your life where you feel like you don't have control, where you feel weak. Take baby steps to work on these, to eliminate those fears or those weaknesses, to strengthen yourself one step at a time, one action at a time, one day at a time. Number seven, seek support. While you're doing all that to help yourself out, all the previous points that I've mentioned or tips that I've mentioned, you can also seek support. Support of friends, of family, of loved ones. But if you feel like you have no one around you to support you, you can always speak to a therapist who, if you find the right therapist, would be able to help you deal with your weaknesses, deal with your fears, to help you find out where this fear stems from, because it's usually fears that keep us weak, or it's traumatic things that happen in our life that will leave that scar inside of us, which will give birth to fear, which in turn, if not dealt with properly, will make you feel weak, right? So deal with that. A side note, don't forget that you can find communities online, communities that provide such support for free oftentimes. So take advantage of that. Be careful, because there are a lot of like scams and unnecessarily evil people online sometimes. So pick wisely when you pick your community, but keep that in mind as an option. And that brings me to my last point, which is the bonus point that I spoke of at the beginning of the video, and it is victimhood. Stop playing the victim. I hope you don't get offended, because I'm speaking to myself when I bring up these points as well, to myself as well. And I know that there are a lot of you out there who feel trapped in the victimhood thing. Being a victim means that you've given into your fear. You've given up on yourself, and you just throw the towel and say there's nothing I can do. And I've lived in that mindset for so many years, because I simply didn't know any better. But when you know, right? It's one of those things. And when you do know, it takes time, because you might not grasp it right away. You might not like believe in it right away. You might say, oh, but it's easier said than done. Or you can do it, I can't. Or my situation doesn't allow me to get out of victimhood, there are tons of reasons or excuses that might feel very valid. Again, I'm speaking out of my own experience, so I hope I don't offend anyone, but you need to hear this. Being a victim is the worst thing ever because it keeps you trapped in weakness. It builds like this jail around you, and it does feel like a prison because you need to break out of it. It keeps you small. It keeps you useless. You feel useless when you're a victim. You are powerless, but you have more power than you think. The only way to discover that power is to tap into it. And how do you tap into it? By allowing yourself to try things that you want to try, by taking action, by, like I mentioned earlier, making a decision to start something, to take action, to get out of that victimhood. Let's say, for example, you are trapped in an abusive relationship. You're obviously a victim, but to not allow yourself to be trapped in this victimhood, you can get out of this relationship. I know a lot of times it's easier said than done, and I know a lot of times it's more complicated than that. But if there's a will, there's a way. If you're unhappy with your life for whatever reason, you are not a victim to life circumstances, even if oftentimes there's been trauma. I know a lot of us have been victims to trauma. I think everyone has been traumatized in life, one way or another, to different degrees. But don't, if you don't realize that trauma, if you don't admit that trauma, if you don't face it, name it, face it. When you name the trauma, you can face it easier, little by little. Like I said earlier as well, sometimes some of us might need therapy for a while. Other times it's self-help. So decide that you don't want to be a victim anymore, because victimhood keeps you very, very weak. And we don't want to be weak. We are not weak, we're strong. So rise up. Come on, it's time you rise up. Take action. Be the person you want to be in life. Stop being weak. Believe me, being weak is only harming you in every single aspect of your life. It's not good to be weak physically or emotionally or mentally. I know you can improve your mental health by learning, improve your emotional health by self-care and by self-understanding and by empowering yourself. Improve your physical health by what I discussed earlier on in my first points, I believe, in the video, by taking care of your diet, water, of course, exercise, walking, keeping active. I know that implementing these strategies that I gave you requires daily commitment. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a mindset thing. It's a daily thing that you got to keep pushing yourself to do it, reminding yourself that you need to do that. You need to empower yourself. But the reward is a life where you are in control because you're strong now, right? You're strong now. Rise up. I actually have another bonus point for you. I know I mentioned earlier, seek support, but I want to say something here. Although seeking support is good and is oftentimes essential, remember, don't depend on others for strengthening you, though. You have to reach within yourself to strengthen yourself. You are the only one who can strengthen yourself. All right. I personally take my strength from the Lord as a Christian, as a believer in Jesus. I take my strength from the Lord. I don't know where you take your strength from, but don't let it be a who all the time. When you depend on others for strength or for happiness, you're going to be put down. People are not perfect, including myself and all of us. Nobody's perfect. And because we're not perfect, we mess up and we could hurt others intentionally or unintentionally. So people will put you down oftentimes. This is why it's so important to reach deep within you and get that strength out. You have to be your own strength. Don't depend on external factors. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Start today. Start working on it and watch how you become the strongest version of yourself. Thank you for watching and for joining me on my journey. I truly appreciate every single one of you. If you could relate to this video, if it resonates with you, please consider subscribing, like, comment. Is there something you want to add to this from your own life experiences? And finally, let's learn and grow together, because together we can all rise stronger. There's power in numbers. If you like this type of content, if it resonates with you, make sure to watch one of my older videos called Dark Confidence. I might drop the link in the description for it. For those of you who are interested, it will make a lot of sense. It goes well with this video. I'll see you on the next one.